The Hope. Our Sarah Seidner outside the prison there in Cairo. Many thanks to you. Well, there are increasing fears that Syria's civil war could spark a wider conflict. In recent weeks, there have been explosions and heavy weapons fire near the Syrian-Israeli border. Mortar shells from Syria have even landed in the Golan Heights. And some injured Syrians are being taken to field hospitals inside Israel, as Nick Robertson reports.
Beyond Israel's northern border, a battle is raging. Artillery shells render buildings to rubble and dust as heavy machine gun fire erupts across Syria's southern villages. The country's civil war seems at full throttle.
It's hard to tell precisely what that shooting and shelling is targeting, but the fact that we can see it from here, right on Israel's frontier, that's it, the fence down there, and even hear some of the small machine gun fire, that tells us the battle is really close.
Just along the fence, Syrian victims of the violence are getting treatment in an Israeli army field hospital, the first of its kind here, set up a year ago. One of the injured, a 21-year-old Syrian man from Dara, who may or may not be a rebel, now at the end of 3 weeks of treatment.
So what we did today is to see the injury, to see that everything is okay, there's no infection, and then he can go to Syria.
And he's a young man of fighting age, and when he comes, do you ask him if he's a fighter? Is that an issue?
No, I didn't ask him. As I mentioned before, it doesn't matter for me if he's a fighter or not. Probably he's a fighter, probably.
Can we ask him?
He says no.
At another time, this admission would be shocking. Israel and Syria are enemies. This day, 22 casualties, many of them children, are getting treatment and a visit from Israel's Prime Minister.
Here's the dividing line on the Golan Heights between the good and the bad. The bad is what is happening on the Syrian side of this border.
His message, "We're here to do good," is simple. But the field hospital and other humanitarian help may play a more sophisticated role for Israel, keeping radical rebels like ISIS away from the border by helping moderates. Ehud Yari, a veteran analyst, tracks radicals and Israel's response to them, sees a strategic plan here.
Israel is just making sure that the villages along the frontier remain sort of friendly, at least non-hostile.
Has your village changed its attitude towards Israel now?
في البلد عندك شو بيحكوا عن إسرائيل بعد العلاج عم تاخذوه أنتوا هوني؟
It turns out to be the best state, he says. The regime used to make us hate it, but it turned out to be the best country. At the day's end, on his way home, back to the war. Nick Robertson, CNN, Golan Heights, Israel.
Well, sometimes a picture tells the story. That's the case at the Olympics in Sochi.